Okay, here we have in front of us, we have a printout of the global cash flow summary. And what you do, which we've already talked a little bit about, but under the File tab, under Budget Cash Flow Summary, you'll see a drop-down that says the Global Cash Flow Summary. When you click that, you actually then can click and pick the companies that you want or the budgets that you want to be included in the Global Cash Flow Summary report. So in this case, under that File tab, under Global Cash Flow Summary, they'd pick John's Woodcraft LLC, John C., which was a personal budget, and Red Door Rentals. So what you're going to find, all of this data, everything on this sheet is automatically printed. You don't have to enter one thing. It just simply combines all of those different budgets and gives you the total cumulative effect of all of their numbers. Okay, one thing we just want to point out is this top set of numbers here is brought down, and there's a continuation of the top numbers. So the top numbers represent January through June. This bottom chart is a continuation that represents the numbers from July through December. In this case, you'll see with John's Woodcraft LLC, he owned 100% of that. Since it's his personal budget under John C., he owns 100% of his own personal budget, and Red Door Rentals, he owns 100%. Now, one of these could have been 50%. In that case, these numbers would represent 50% of the profit and loss, 50% of the cash on hand, where the actual budget that you looked at would represent 100% of the profit and loss and cash on hand. But in this case, John C. and Red Door Rentals, if it was 50% ownership, he'd only got half of the loss or of the profit. So as you look at this, then the next column says projected yearly profit and loss. So John's Woodcraft LLC is projected to make a profit of $254,259.57. Under his personal, he's going to make $11,410. Under Red Door Rental, he's going to make $1,064.43. When you total these down, he's going to make $266,734.36. And that comes down, and that gives his beginning projected yearly combined profit and loss. So in this case, it happens to be the same because it's in the first particular period. So this number here represents what the cumulative effect of all of the budgets that he picked to enter. Now the next column is the current projected period ending cash on hand. So this represents the period ending being the end of the year. If you were January 1st through December 31st, that's how much cash on hand that he was expecting from the budgets to have at the end of the year. In this case, he's got $327,672.63. Many of you with your budgets may be short when you first put them in. You may not have this run of a company, and your personal finances may not be this good a shape, and probably in all likelihood they will not be. So this will give you on the first printing, say, oh my word, you might say, look, we're going to be 13,000 shy or 20,000 shy. How do we recover that? And then you had to come up with a plan. But in this case, it was a very well-run, well-heeled operation. The January projected cash on hand at the end of the month, this shows you at the end of January what you're going to have. So they're projecting these numbers that gives you a total cash on hand effect of $71,000. Now you look here, at the end of the year he's projecting to have $327,000, but he's only showing in January that he's going to have $71,445 cash on hand. When he goes to the January actual cash on hand, because this was based on projected, he didn't do quite as well as he thought. He did 39 here, 26 something here, 3,000 something here. So he only came up with cash on hand of 69,000, where he had projected having 71,000 cash on hand. Now, the January cumulative increase or decrease in cash, which shows being $1,846.83 short, and you can see which company the shortage was from. In this case, it's from John Woodcraft LLC, where he was $1,957.40 less than he thought, which he was a little better in these two, which made the difference of $1,846.83. Now, if you go to this last column here that shows the current projected profit and loss based on the actual numbers, what you're going to have here is this is what he projected to be his profit and loss for the year. But in this month, remember, he was short of what he projected by 1846. So this number minus that came to this number. Then all the other months are going to be set up this number, plus or minus that to come to this. Then you're going to go from here, plus or minus that to get to this. And you're going to bring it down all the way so you're going to be able to see what your September year-to-date cumulative increase or decrease in cash is right here. But then you're going to have the current projected profit and loss, and these numbers are going to change. But this number along here is going to represent what your current projected profit and loss based on your actual numbers, because when you started, you were only basing on projected. This will update this projected number to represent what the actuals are on a month-by-month basis. And you can pick any group of budgets you'd like. If you were in a church like we've talked about sooner, or a business, so let's take a church for example, you might have one of these being the general fund, one being the audio, one being the bus ministry. You would take all of these different departments into consideration. It would give you what the cumulative effect for the year is, but you can see each individual department, a summary of all of the months on these type of descriptive columns here. So it's very, very useful. And so many times a small businessman has several companies plus his own personal income, which is derived from his companies. This will show you the net effect, what companies have money, what don't. And again, we think you'll find it very helpful. And it's been a pleasure to present this to you. Again, thank you very, very, very much for watching and taking time. Thank you.